All right. So welcome to our show, Chatting Underground. And we get to chit chat with Steph with an F from City of the Week today. We're so excited to see you and all of your beautifulness.
Thanks for
I
having me. Appreciate it.
I'm excited. Oh, no problem. I was doing a little dive into your kind of history, and I was like,
Hmm.
Alex, I think we've been watching them their whole career.
Really?
Yeah, I had to think about it for a while, and I was like, okay, so the first show that Scott took us to was like in October, I think, of 2012.
What? Are you serious? What show? What? Where? Oh, I can't hear you. You guys cut out.
No,
I
that's
think it
fine. I was
was
doing it.
totally off
Okay.
set. No.
No, it was before
Oh.
that. I
Was it
think you
big?
guys. No, it wasn't at Biggs. I saw you guys. I'm pretty sure it was in Minneapolis. We have a mutual friend, you and I.
Uh huh.
So I am good friends with Scott Schuler.
Okay.
And so Scott was like, "You got to check out this band." There, because he was really big, and he introduced us to you guys. That's how we
Okay.
got into City of the Week. We also got into Blue Felix that way.
Okay.
Liddy and the Gabriel and the Apocalypse, and so we got to kind of see all of you guys in the same time period.
Oh my God, that was literally like our first show. We started in 2012.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I know. I had to think about that. I was like, it has to be we've been watching them their whole career.
That's wild. Yeah, that's crazy. That's some OG right there. That we were teenagers back then.
Right? Yeah. That it's crazy to think that to see you because I remember I also got to see you in 2019.
Okay.
You were in Sioux City with Calling Grace.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
And yeah, so I was at that show with Scott. We were just he was like, come with me. I got an extra ticket. I was like, sure, I'll go. And
Nice.
then I
Yeah.
know, yeah, we come across you at Biggs because we have pictures of you and Alex at Biggs. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we've been watching you grow. It's
That's
been a
crazy. Well, thanks for being around for the whole freaking ride.
Oh, you're welcome. I do see though, if you're in the on the coast now, you used to be
Mhm.
stationed out of Minneapolis.
Yep, we moved here to Arizona during the pandemic.
Oh, okay. Warmer
So,
weather.
yeah, no, I mean, I literally just got cold one day and was like, I can't do this. Loaded up the Prius and dipped. I mean, we still are consider ourselves like a Minneapolis band because that's like kind of where our home is, and that's where our like sort of main fan base is. Like, we don't really play shows here in Arizona. Like,
Oh,
unless we're on
okay.
like a tour or something, we never play because we still have our guitar player still lives in Minneapolis as well. So even when we first moved here, we were kind of going back to Minneapolis. Like Cody and I were flying back to do stuff there, but now we just recently got everything here.
Okay.
So it's really yeah.
That's I get that. We moved from Sioux Falls at the end of 2020. I was like, it's too cold. I can't do this anymore. I need to go someplace warm.
Yeah.
And now we're in North Carolina.
Oh wow. Okay. Yep.
I can't do
Yep.
the cold anymore.
Yeah. No, it's rough. Yeah, it gets to you. North Carolina's cool though. They have a cool music scene.
We definitely do. I really like it. So I said if you get out closer to in the Durham area within a couple hours, we will definitely come and rock out with you guys.
Yeah, we've played North Carolina quite a bit over the years. So we'll definitely be back. It's always fun. The people there turn up. Yeah, it's a good time.
It's yeah. I work in a small venue in Durham, and I always keep telling them you've got to get some of these more metal bands because the indie rock is starting to wear on me.
Yeah, no, I feel like a lot go through North Carolina. I don't know if they hit Durham. I've never really like heard much about Durham, but like that Hooligans venue or like Raleigh or
Mm,
I feel like we always play like small towns. So
yeah.
Asheville, I feel like we played in Asheville once. Jackson something. Is there a Jackson? Is that North
Yeah.
Carolina? That's no. Is it?
Yep. Yep. It's a little south of us.
Okay. Yeah, we've
Yeah.
also played some other time. I can't remember. It was really, really tiny. It's like barely on the map, but it was like the venue was like full. It was crazy. It was nuts. So no,
That's
that was South
awesome.
Carolina. So
That's not too
yeah,
far away.
yeah.
That's just
Yeah,
depending
it's
on
a good
what part
time.
of South Carolina it is. It's just a couple hours away, so it's not really that far away
Hmm.
as far as like being able to go and catch a show. I did see. I think you guys were down either last year or the year before, like in the fall, the year before.
Yep,
You were kind
2022.
of out on this coast.
Hmm.
So, how long? Is it all the same band members you've had since 2012?
No, the same guitar player and me, and then we had Cody, the bass player, join 2014, and then we've swapped out lots of drummers. We haven't really had someone full time since 2014. We've sort of just done hire on sort of stuff. We never really brought on a band member. So we went down from a 5 piece to now we're a 3 piece. So some changes, but it's been pretty consistent the last like since like 2015, 2016, you know.
Okay, but I was doesn't seem to affect your ability to perform in any way, shape, or form. So you're still doing your thing.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I mean, now we're just hiring on drummers, so we just kind of fly them in or whatever for a rehearsal for the week, and then we hit the road. So
Okay.
it's
So
kind
is
of
music kind of your like your stable income, or do you guys have like extra lives?
yeah. I mean, we all live in like the music industry world. Like, I'm an artist manager. That's sort of where my main income comes in. It's pretty split, but mostly artist management. And I work for the Pride Management out of LA. And then I also teach music. I've been teaching for about 16 years, which is really crazy to think about that. But so I do that. And then Cody teaches music. He also runs his own video company. So he makes music videos. He's also a guitar tech. So he's on the road with other artists. Brent is the only one where he works. He's like service industry. He's bartender. He's the only one that's not like living kind of full time in music. So he
Okay.
probably makes a lot more money than us.
Yeah, like I always kind of wonder about that, like what does your life consist of when you're not making the music?
Hmm.
How do you balance that out? But if your other part of who you are still exists in that realm, is
Hmm.
that do you feel like that would be easier to balance out that part of your life?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I mean, over the years, I spent years and years like doing like retail and I did bartending, I did serving. We've done, I mean, way back in the day, like Cody like delivered Domino's, like we've done like it all. So it's not like we just sort of woke up one day and we're like doing music stuff full time. It's been like this grind since we were like kids. I mean, Cody's first job, like he was playing in like dive bars, like playing hire on um for like local cover bands in Rochester, Minnesota and whatnot. So and then he, throughout the years as he's moved around, had to get other jobs, like we've all done it all. So it's just been the hustle has sort of like allowed us to be able to be in the music industry full time, after years and years and years. So I think it's
Yeah.
easier because most of it's online. Like even teaching, I can still take some of my lessons on Zoom on the road. All my management job, they're out of LA. Some of them are overseas, so I'm working from my computer. Makes it way easier. I also do like social media freelance for a company. That's all online. I think it's easier, so don't have to
Oh
like
yeah.
request off and stuff like that.
I dream of being able to just kind of have like the online. Like I tell Alex all the time, I'm like, I just need to figure out how to just podcast. Like this,
Me
Hmm.
too.
I love this. I enjoy this. I love being able to chit chat and make new friends this way and support the bands because it gives us an opportunity to do shout outs and post all about your music and add your music to our playlist that we share with everybody. It's like that's what I want to do. You got my dream job.
Yeah, I mean, just you got to find where, like, what skills you have and just sort of like find out like who needs what. That's kind of what I did. Like, I learned every music business skill under the sun. I even went to school for music business as well. So I just learned and talked to people and eventually got like I didn't even apply for the job. A producer that we work with just was like, "Hey, I'm starting a management company. Come on board." And so, I mean, if you just do get out there enough and have enough skills and showcase those skills, like something will click. All you need is that one thing that'll click.
Yeah, that's what I keep.
So,
That's what keep saying. I'm like, if I keep throwing enough things at the paper, something is going to stick.
That's true. That's so true. Absolutely.
And then, so I had discovered that you were in like in your early time taking music classes, but you'd mentioned that you teach. So do you what exactly are you teaching as far as like musical?
Yeah, so when I was 14, I started a little music studio in Montana, where I'm from, and I taught piano and guitar and a little bit of bass and then trombone as well. And then now, these days, I mainly am just a voice coach and piano lessons. Those are my main things. I am now, like, I've sort of stopped doing the whole like private studio. Like, I ran my own studio, I've worked at tons of studios through like when I lived in LA, when I was in Minnesota, when I was in Montana. Now I'm just at like a school of rock here in Scottsdale. I only have a couple
Okay.
days a week there, but it's like they have like full band. It's kind of like the movie where like they have like full bands and they like go play shows. So it's all focused around like that performance space. So which is really cool.
There's one here in Chapel Hill,
Okay,
but
yeah.
I don't ever like I don't know if it's open and functioning. But there was also for a while there was one in Sioux Falls.
Yeah, it's worldwide. They have them all over the world.
That's
Some are
cool.
like more franchise, some are more corporate. Like each one has been a totally different vibe and a different experience because I've worked at a bunch around in Minnesota, LA to here. But I really like the one I'm at. Scott in Scottsdale has a really great vibe, really great kids. I've had lots of the same students for years since I moved here 4 years ago. So, and it's cool to see them like blossom and start their careers and whatnot and go off to their music school, live their dreams. So, I can't step away. I love it. I can't
That's
give it up.
cool. Right? I mean, I don't think that you should. As we've had conversations with other bands, uh, one of the things that I always come back to is we've all gotten to a point where we're all in our late 30s or our 40s, but everybody has still found a way to consistently keep that dream and still live it.
Totally.
You
Yeah.
know, what does a ballerina do when she's done being on stage? I feel like it's the same concept. Like you still have to in the music industry. What do you do when you can't do stage anymore?
Yeah, you just find a way to stay in there. Teaching is a big one. Opening your own studio. Or you could do, I don't know, a theater director. I don't really know the dance world, but like anything, like music. There's so many. Like I always will educate my students on that too, because a lot of them are like freaked out because they're like, how do I like? I'm in high school or I'm 18. I'm going off in the world. How do I turn my guitar playing or my piano playing into like a job? Like how do I do this? And so I'm like, I'm like, you got to find all these streams of income. There's so many like having multiple streams of income will keep you afloat because it's really really rare in this day and age where you like get discovered and you get a bunch of money from a record label. That just doesn't that sort of model doesn't really exist anymore. It's more of like a day-to-day hustle and grind and having a bunch of skills. So I sort of teach them like, there's the whole like selling merch world, there's the whole touring world, stage production, being a tech for your instrument, and then there's the whole like publishing world and licensing and sync and TV, all of that for the music world. Then there's the whole recording industry, producing, recording engineering. Then there's the whole business side of management, being an agent, like all that. Like there's so many options. Like you
Yeah.
got to find one. And then the art world too, design, music videos, the actual art. I'm like, it's endless. You just got to find the one thing or a few things and then just monetize it, and that'll keep your
Right.
music going and afloat. And it's a community. Music's a community, so help everyone else out, they'll help you out.
Yeah, that's one of the things that has become like key for us right now is if I find that I'm looking for a specific type or a genre, all I have to do is send a message and I'll send it out to 5 or 6 people and I'm like, this is what I'm looking for. Does anybody have a link? Send them to me. I need something. We're missing something in there and it just comes together. And so
Hmm.
it's a very tight knit community of very much like helping hands. I
Yeah.
have finding, especially in a lot of our, like you guys have a producer, so you're a little more above ground, I guess, than some of the bands that we have been chit chatting with that are very, they're doing it all on their own. They're not signed, very underground, and they're so willing to be like, here, let me help you. And I'm like,
Hmm.
I just love this about that. And I know that you have to remember, you probably, you were there too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we help other bands all the time, like with things, and even like Cody's music video business. He charges so much less than he, is worth just to like, help those bands get their stuff off the ground or do live videos, whatever it is. And I mean, we're still we're DIY. I mean, we need help from people all the time too. Like, we're not big either. So we've just been around a long time.
Experience. You've gained your experience though over those 12, about 12 years now.
Yeah.
It's been a
Yeah.
crazy 12 years though. I saw somewhere that you guys have been robbed on the road and you've had,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've broken down, we've been robbed. We've gone through. One time we had our tire fly off in the middle of the freeway going 80 miles an hour. Yeah, because the shop that gave us our put the new tires on or whatever repair, they didn't tighten the lug nuts, and the thing just flew off. It was
Oh
it
my
was so
goodness.
crazy. Yeah, and then we got robbed at a dealership one time. They took all our merch. I mean, we got really lucky that we took all our stuff, our gear out, but we left the merch behind because we couldn't fit it because our van was busted. Yeah, and they stole all the merch, which is like, ugh, why? Why? You can't do anything
Right.
with it. It's not like we're
Can't do
Metallica. You
anything
can
with it.
bootleg sell them. No one's gonna buy our merch.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
yeah. So what? Yeah, we've been through it all. So, but we've been on like 30, 34 tours now, I think, which
Oh
is
wow.
freaking nuts. Yeah.
And is it just the three full length EPs that you
We
have?
have two EPs and then one full length. So, and then like a few various singles covers out as well. We
Okay.
have another close to 20 songs that are like done, ready to go. Now we have, I want to say 8 music videos that are like ready to go. So we have a ton stashed up. We're not just, we're trying to rely on our old stuff. We are just sitting on a lot of new stuff. So that'll
Does
come.
that mean new music? Because we love new
Yes.
music.
Not
Yes,
new
we have so
music.
much stuff. Yeah, we're just like sitting on all of it right now. So we're trying to figure out what to do with it. So, because I don't, I mean, we got to make sure that it hits the right way. So
Yeah.
try to do something new. I don't want to. We're at where we're at in our career. I'm not happy with where we're at. I want to do more. I want to be bigger. I feel like we're sort of been stagnant for a little while. Especially with the pandemic, everyone was stagnant. So I
Yeah.
want to figure out a way to level up and get a little crazier.
Oh, that sounds fun though.
Yeah, yeah,
But
no, it's
at this,
cool.
but to be able to like reflect on that and be like, hey, we're not where we want to be, and I want to do something more. But to be able to like, but this is why it's not just us. But
Hmm.
then to make that game plan and be like, no, I want to make it.
Yeah, no, totally. And it's tough. It's tough. You got to have the right team. There's a lot of things that need to align to make that happen. So, it's a lot on the back end trying to figure out what to do and how to do it, and then when the time is right, the time's right.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love new music. So
Yeah.
anytime that I hear that there's new music in the pipeline, I'm always, ooh.
Yeah, and it's different. It's so different than everything we've done. So, it's definitely like better than anything we've ever put out. So, which I feel like every band says that, but like it really is like next level compared to listening to our older stuff. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But I mean, the music you make when you're a teenager versus the music you make when you're, pushing 30 is a lot different.
Yeah, because your mindset's different.
Hmm.
Your maturity level on how you handle things as you go through them is different. So then your ability to express that also changes with
Bingo.
time. So it
Absolutely.
definitely will make a difference in what you're producing and how you're producing it. I think
Yeah.
that's really cool though. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. Totally.
And then I know that you guys have like some clothing collabs that you do. And are those more like your DIY type clothing where you're in complete control of it, or does somebody else like make them and be like, well, do you like this one or do you like this one?
Yeah, so the hateful collab that I'm guessing is what you're mentioning. That's all me. Like I hand make them. Honestly, it started. I'm just like throwing out all the secrets. It's totally fine. We got this merch order, and it was like not what we wanted as far as like how they were printed on the shirt or whatnot. And the company let us keep them, and so I was like, I have all these shirts, and I don't know what to do with them. So I'm like, why don't I make them into to flannel, make them cool? Like this is a really cool design. Like it's a shit. I don't want to throw them away, so I started cutting them up, throwing them on flannels and jackets, and I'm like, this is really really cool. And so I was just gonna make it for myself, and then I was like, well, I'll start selling them, and people loved them, and so they've been a hit. And so I started doing expanding it with more merch that we have, and just allowing myself to be creative with it. So everything's handmade by me. So yeah. And then like we've had like clothing collabs in the past with like other companies, like Puncture Wounds is one. They're out of North Carolina, aren't they? No, they're West Virginia. I think West
That's
Virginia. Yeah.
close. Yeah, that's
Um,
close. It's not too far.
yeah. So Puncture Wounds to JD and his wife have been really really great. They'll make custom clothes for us that we'll like wear, and then Warren Star is one that we've been really tight with for like 10 years. They'll make custom stage clothes for us as well. Like we don't make those. So, but yeah, that's kind of our clothing line. Oh, and
That's
we were also
cool.
were with Koala Core. It was like an animal rights clothing company as well, but they're not around
Okay.
anymore.
Oh. Isn't that how it always works? You get into something and then they're like, poof, they're gone.
Yeah, I mean that was years ago. I think they've changed. It's a couple. They're really awesome. They're dope. They did really cool stuff. They were always on Warp Tour and let us come out and hang with them. And we helped them out. But yeah. So I mean, people come throughout the years. Companies come and go, and people try different things. So
So do you, with your collab merch stuff that you make on your own, you still take that and sell it at your merch tables, or are they just kind of like a special order deal?
Usually I just sort of make them and then throw them at the merch table or throw them online, whatever. Sometimes I have people that email me and are like, "Hey, I want this color and this design," and I'll be like, "Okay." I'm pretty like lax about it. It's not like I have like a super pro like everyone can add it, order a custom one through the website. But I mean, if you shoot me an email and want something, I'll make it.
That's cool.
So yeah.
That's very cool. So, like through the years that all of your touring and stuff, have you ever had like a favorite festival that you have gotten to perform at?
Probably Rockfest, which we're playing again this year. We played it 4 times now. It's just like it's in Wisconsin. It's in Cadott, Wisconsin, which is like kind of on the Minnesota Wisconsin ish border. It just turns up. Like people turn up. I don't know how to describe it. With nobody turns up like Wisconsin. Wisconsin festivals are next level, and so Rockfest is like a huge community. They've been around forever. The way they have the stages set up, like people are partying. Like we played the main stage really early in the day, like 1 p.m. or something, and it was wild. And then we've also played on the other end of it at like 1 in the morning after the main headliner, and it's even wilder. I'm like, how are you guys going from 11 a.m. to 3:30 in the morning? Like it was so crazy last time we played. We were done at like 3 in the morning, and people kept wanting merch. They like were like, our merch table is crazy, but like 6 of us working merch, we couldn't sell it fast enough, and then the security had to like escort people out of there because like everyone was so stoked and wanting to stay. And they're like, it's like 4 a.m. Like everyone's got to leave the grounds, and like people were so enthusiastic. Like how is everyone partying that long? That's crazy.
Right. They're taking naps in the green somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Years
just love that.
ago, I went to a rock fest in Kansas City, and it was like a day long. Get
Mm,
there at 11, and I don't remember what time it ended, but at one point, because we had drank too much the night before, we were those people laying in the grass taking a nap so we could make it through the rest of the day.
I love it. You gotta do what you gotta do. I love that it just feels like the Wild West at like a festival like that. It just feels like the Wild West. Everyone's just like, no one cares how you look. Everyone's just out there. Half people are like sunburnt. Everyone's drunk or half drunk. There's people laying in the grass having a nap at like 3 p.m. or like when someone's on stage. It's like so just like wild, and it makes me feel like I'm in like the 90s again, or like early 2000s at like a simpler time. And you can't get
Yep.
like cell phone service, so people aren't on the phones really. I love it. I'm a
Yeah.
Midwestern at heart.
No, I totally get it because I that festival that I went to was just insane all day long. But it was so much fun, and everybody was just like, who are you here to see? What band is this on stage? Because I'm not who it was, but it was just about the show and having a
Mm-hmm.
good time. And I get what you're saying. It's so much just like you can breathe.
Yeah, absolutely. Rock. I think I know which one you're talking about. Rockfest. That's the biggest one in the country. I think Rockfest in Kansas City.
Yeah, it's
That was
down
fun.
there. It's like it's insane. We went a
Mhm.
couple years and we partied the day before it, and I do not recommend that. We were still hungover when we got to the show the next day, but it was a good time.
Best way to party. Gotta keep it going.
Oh, there are so many stories from that weekend. It's just like the whole weekend was crazy, but I would definitely do it again
There you go.
any
I love it.
day because it was fun, and we got to see a lot of bands that I wasn't familiar with all of them. And so on the way home, I'm like, hey, what was that one again we saw? They were not on the main stage, on the other stage when we were trying to take a nap. And they were like,
Yeah.
oh, let me think on it for a second. But we did. We added so many more bands to our music list just from going to a festival because we wanted to see like one or two. And that's
Yeah.
what I like about it. Just like the amount of music that they can pack into those festivals
Mm-hmm.
with it, and the way that if they do it right, main stage, you have enough time if you run to get from one to the next and still catch them. Like
Yeah.
they're timed right, which is what I like. Is that how the one there is?
Yeah, yeah, no, it's the multiple stages, different areas. They alternate with the main stage and whatnot. But no, I know exactly what you're saying. That's just what you said, the discovery of new bands. I love that. I love the live discovery. I feel like a lot of people these days rely on, or a lot of bands rely on Spotify or like the digital discovery. But really, the number one way to discover like those lifelong bands or fans, whatever side you're on, is a live festival or like a live experience. Like all my like favorite bands like that I've discovered at like a festival or something, like I'm sold forever because it's a great experience. You can't replicate that on a CD. You just can't. Period.
No, for sure. We haven't been to one in quite a few years because they stopped it in South Dakota, but we used to go to Lifelight every year, which
Oh.
it's the big Christian rock festival.
Mhm.
But flip side of that is 95% of the attendees were not there because it was a Christian rock festival.
Mhm.
They were there because the bands that got played on mainstream music all the time, you could go see them. And
Yeah.
it was like one of the last years that they had it, we got to see like
Red.
Red for the first time.
Yep, we saw Red.
Nice.
I think
Yep.
Skillet,
Skillet was
Damn.
there. Thousand Foot Crutch was there that
Flyleaf.
last year. Yeah, that was when Lacey stepped down.
Yep.
So that one was kind of bittersweet for us. But there was like Red Jumpsuit Apparatus was there
Mhm.
that year, and I didn't know who they were. But I was like, I really
Knew
like
who
these
they were.
guys. You did, I didn't. So being able to discover those new bands at stuff like at festivals, it's always. And then you hear them. So what do you immediately do when you're done hearing them? You
You
head to
go
the
watch
merch
them or
table,
listen or save it to your.
right? And you
Yeah.
hit the merch table right away.
Mhm.
At
Yep.
least
Yep.
I do. I'm that person. I'm like, oh, I gotta hit the merch table now.
Yeah. That was, yeah, same. I spend all my money when I go to shows like that. When I discover a new band and I'm hyped on them, you got to buy it all. So
Yeah,
I'm with you.
it's
And those are, can we talk about early 2000s Christian festivals? Fucking slapped. I'm sorry. They were awesome. I did all that. I went to like the youth. I remember I saw Skillet at some like youth group convention or whatever, and they had like a little mini festival. Oh my god, slapped. Like those bands, like they went hard. Icon for Hire was part of that too. Family Force 5, Children 18-3, write this down. Like all those underground bands were so good. So I never made it to Lifelike, but that was definitely a goal of mine at some point.
Yeah, I think they still do it. They just don't do it in South Dakota anymore. The farmer that was letting them use the property decided that he didn't want to let it be done anymore. I guess the last year it like rained and it got trashed, like
Whoop.
just the ruts from all the cars out there. But we call it Mudfest. Like we had to wear like boots and we couldn't get the mud out of the back of our clothes. It was so bad. But the mosh pit was a mud pit.
There, yeah, there was one point where all of us teenagers were just standing at the front gates, just jumping in the mud puddles.
Yep.
Oh my god.
But you're right, like those bands just like they put so much into it
Mm-hmm.
for all of those fans that were out there, and like Skillet brought all of their pyrotechnics and everything to the years that we saw them. It was just insane. It was like it was free for us.
Right.
Like it was an all-day free festival. I was like, yes, I will take this crew of 5 kids and we are going to go spend the day at the festival. But they made their money on food and merch.
Hell yeah.
They were
Hell yeah.
so much fun. I wish they still had those festivals around, easily accessible
Yeah.
for sure. But I didn't know that Icon for Hire was at any of those.
Yeah, they were way back in the day. They were Tooth and Nail, that
Huh.
main Christian label that started a lot of those bands. But then Tooth and Nail, I guess they were super shady, stole a bunch of money, or gave really crappy deals. I don't know what it was, but yeah, that was way back in the day. I remember hearing them through some like youth group thing or whatever. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've been following them for a long time too.
Yeah, yeah, and they're still killing it. They're way better now than they've ever been. So, because I just saw them a few months ago as well. They're still killing it.
Jealous. We're hoping to go see them in a couple. It's later next month. Just trying to
Okay.
like work all of our schedules out.
Yeah.
To be able to do that whole like balance my day life and my
Yeah.
mommy life and my fun life out sometimes can be kind of hard.
Yeah.
So I always have to ask everybody like, how do you do it? Like, where
Balance
do
my
you
life.
find your balance?
I don't. I don't. Sorry, I'm like, my nose is ready. I have like the worst allergies today. I'm like, ugh. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't. I just, every day I feel like I'm getting dragged from the back of a train or a semi truck or something. I'm barely getting by every day.
I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah,
100%.
I like forget. I try and schedule out my like weeks and whatnot to make it like really like this is my work time here. This is I got to do this. But it's like every week turns into this massive emergency where somebody needs something or our band needs to do something, and then it's like next thing you know it's 9 o'clock at night. And you're like, oh shit, there's a show. Like, all right, let's go to the show. Like we got a bunch of stuff to do, but we're screw it. We'll leave it for tomorrow. Like I don't know. I'm just trying to live life. One day I'm gonna die, and I want to, I want to live as much as I can and get as much done as I can and see as many bands or whatever. So,
Oh yes.
gotta experience it
I
all.
That's where we're at this summer. We're like, we didn't get to go to enough shows last year, so we started buying our concert tickets in January.
Nice,
Like we'd get like a pre-sale and I'm like, "Oh, yes, we're going to that one." And then like the
nice.
next week I'm like,
You're
"Yes,
just
we're
like,
going
oh,
to
I'm gonna
that
put
one."
them all on the calendar, and then I'm like, I gotta take screenshots and send them to my boss. I'm not gonna be here that day. Figure it out.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very much where we're at. I'm like, "I've bought the tickets. You tell your boss you're not going to be there."
No,
End of
literally
story.
though. That's how you got to do it. I have so many friends that are like, "Oh, I don't think I can get off work," or "Oh, I'll request off." I'm like, "No, it's not a you don't ask, you tell them. You tell them when you're leaving."
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't go to a show, like what are you doing? Like it's because I worked in so many jobs where they try to be like no for things. It's like, okay, well, fire me. I'll find another job. Like that's how
Right.
that's how what we always did it. Like when I worked retail and they'd be like, you can't go on tour. Okay, this is my last day. Like
Right. No, I get that.
I'm
You're
gonna
like,
live my
"No, this is my
life.
life."
Yeah, because I know so many people who are just like slaves to their job, and then 10, 15 years have gone by and they're still, haven't done anything, haven't experienced anything, and they're sad, and it's like, it sucks. Sucks to see people like that.
Yeah. But you're right, live your life. Do as many things as you can while you can. Most
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, no, totally. I feel like where people didn't work like 80-hour weeks like back in the day. Like it used to be like 30 hours was a work week, and now we just like really got become accustomed to working all the time. But it's like you got to party a little bit. you gotta play a little bit, you know. So I mean, that's easier said than done because I'm a workaholic too. But you know, you gotta have
Yeah.
fun.
Like I said, I've been trying. Like I try to always have Mondays set aside as a podcast day. Like
There you
this
go.
day is a day I can do my interviews and whatever else I need to do for the podcast. And Tuesday through Friday, I will run my business.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll squeeze in my bartending shifts at the Motorco because I work at the Motorco Music Hall.
Oh, cool.
So I can see the shows. Like I get paid to see the shows.
Nice.
And
See, there you go. That's thinking. That is thinking.
that's I'm like, but there's some shows I'm like, do I want to work this one or do I just want to use my free ticket and go see the show?
Right. Yeah, there you go. No, you're
Because
thinking.
like we've done that where I've called the boss and been like, I don't want to work that show, but I want to come to that show. Put me in one guest list
There
on the
you go.
guest list with the +1. So there's a one show coming up next month where I'm like that. I'm kind of like on the fence. Do I want to work it or do I want to just go and party? Not
Right.
I'm gonna be at it one way or the other. I just don't know if it's like I need to get paid to be there or I just want to party.
Right. No, that's
So, but
cool.
I yeah, like that's been my attempt to kind of balance out things so that I can accomplish my hobby job and then
Yeah,
still have life taken care of.
that's smart. That's the way to do it. That literally is the way to do it. I love it. I love to hear it.
Yeah, that's how we're doing it. But I also back to your rock fest that you're going to be at. We have an upcoming interview. We had done it, but we have to redo it due to some technical difficulties on our side. But I do believe that Gabriel Apocalypse is going to be at that same festival you're going to be at.
Ah, cool. That'd be cool to see them again. We did tours
Yeah,
with them back in the day, and Cody still does some of their music videos for them. So
yeah. I remember her telling us that she was only doing one, and it was a rock festival. And then you mentioning that, I'm like, I bet it's the same one.
it probably is. I'm
I
guessing. That'd be cool.
feel like a lot of the Minneapolis based bands still kind of travel on some of those like circuits together, even though you may not know that you're doing it. You all still end up in those same spots at the same time.
Yeah. No, it's a good community. I mean, we all, yeah, you're totally right. We used like back in the day, we would like partner with bands or like around the festivals, do lots of little weekend runs or whatever it is. So like Blue Felix too that you mentioned, we used to play with them. Um, Dead Horse Trauma when they were a thing. I think now they're Widow Seven, Gabriel the Apocalypse. I mean, I can't even think. There was like so many. We were like one of those bands that's part of a lot of different scenes. Like we're part of like the active rock scene. We're also randomly part of the metalcore scene. Then we're part of like the metal scene, and then we're kind of sort of part of like the pop ish. So it's like we kind of like new bands in every like we kind of fit everywhere. So we kind of would scoot around to all that. But yeah, no, you're totally right. That scene is very very tight.
Yeah, I always enjoyed coming to those shows. They
Mm-hmm.
were small venues, which I personally like a smaller venue rather than like a great big venue because
Mm-hmm.
it's more personable. And I always feel like the bands at the smaller venues, they themselves are more personable with the audience
Yeah.
about coming and hanging out. That's, especially with you, because we've seen you out and about and we've walked up to you and we've gotten pictures with you. At least Alex has a couple of times. I never get in the pictures. I'm always the one taking them. But just to be personable with the fans at a small venue, I feel like has always been where I like to go to the small shows.
Same. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm with you on that. I want to see bands up close too. I don't want to see them on a screen. I hate going to like stadium arena shows. Obviously, it's cool to see some of those really big crazy artists, but it's like I also am watching the whole show on a screen. Like I
Yep,
not
we
that
just did
not
that.
that fun for me. I think. I mean, I'm not going to pay a bunch of money to watch a screen as much as I want to see. It has to be someone I really want to see. But I like the small stuff too. And I like
Yeah,
playing it, honestly, as an artist. I like a packed, sweaty room. I like the punk style, packed in, sweaty room, all the energy.
you're like 400 people, and the condensation is running down the windows and dripping from the ceiling.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love the sweaty. I love it. I don't know. Something about it.
That happens when we get a packed house at Motorco. A lot of times, the condensation just gets to be so thick on the windows, it's just dripping. And then if you're behind the bar, if you're in the wrong spot standing for too long, it's dripping off of the pipes on the ceiling. And I'm like, can we open up a door
Right.
just to even it out a little bit for us? This is getting kind of sticky, guys. But the fans don't notice.
Yeah.
They're still in the mosh pit headbanging and buying drinks. I think it's all
Yeah, I
good.
love it.
So yeah, it is. I like it. Do you enjoy doing the outside festivals too, as well?
Yeah, we love festivals. We like live for. We've done a lot of them. We've done some of the Danny Wimmer ones, which those ones are like a whole other experience. We've done like the Incarceration, Chicago Open Air, Northern Invasion, Rock USA, Summerfest. I mean, there's nothing like it. I mean, it's dope. It's cool to be a part of it, and it's cool to like play right before like a really iconic artists or some of your favorite bands. You know, especially since we're a smaller act. You know, like it's cool to like be walking around and you're like, oh, there's next door is Ozzy Osbourne's production, and like that's so cool. You know,
That's cool. So when
yeah.
you're
And we
at
also
the festivals,
what's that?
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, also we always do like meet and greets at them as well, which like is a huge highlight for us because we usually like get a bottle of like booze or something and just like party it up with everyone. Or like I love meeting people and hearing their stories and like just getting to like party with them one on one at this festival too. So we always try and go a little hard with people and we love it. So, but what were you
That
saying?
sounds fun. Oh, I was gonna ask you, like, when you're at the festivals, do you like hang out in the crowd any year, or do you just go to the merch booth and hang out at the merch booth?
I mean, kind of both. I mean, I like to go around and see everyone. I like that's a big part of it. Like, I want to talk to people. I want to like talk to fans and see why they're there, like what bands are there to see, and like party with people. You know, I don't want to sit backstage and just and do what you know.
Right.
Like we came to party. We're a rock band. Like that's what we do. You know, we came to party and hang out.
Yeah, I just sometimes, like I've been to shows where I've since I'm at the venue I work at anyways, where I'm like, I'm gonna wait. I really want them to come out. I want them to, but because they had a packed house, you never see them come out of the back. Even like once the place is cleared out, their team unloads everything from the stage and puts it away, and then they will come out. But until everything is already loaded up, you never see them. I'm like, what are you doing in the green room?
That sounds lonely to me. I mean, I understand once you're bigger, obviously you can't just go out and chill. Like, obviously we're not a big band. We don't have the problem of being like too like big, you know. So obviously I understand that. But I don't know, like if I feel like playing bars or cap 500 and other venues, I'm like, why not go out and talk to people? What I don't know. I mean, some musicians are introverts. Some of them aren't. Don't enjoy as much of the speaking to people aspect. I mean, to me, it just sounds lonely. So, but everyone's different.
Yeah. Oh no, and I get that. That I know, like Alex, for one, you don't. Alex doesn't talk a whole lot. Alex is the tech person, but Alex is like, I want to see Stephanie.
Oh,
Was
I
super
did.
excited to come on, and
I was so bummed out last week. I was like, no,
yeah,
my
I'm
heart
so sorry.
shattered.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I suck. Sorry. But
no, it's
we're
fine.
here now.
It's absolutely okay. So like Alex is very introverted, so that like when we go out to a show, I'm always the one that's like, "Hey, I'm with the podcast chatting underground. Can I take a picture?"
Hmm.
If they're like super like fan dressed up or something, like introduce myself and what the podcast is as a way to like get our brand out there and get us known, or if it's a band that we like to I go up and introduce myself and put on my professional big girl voice about who I am and what I do to get them to come on, possibly come on. So, like, having to be personable is my thing. It is definitely not Alex's thing.
I mean, that works great though. You guys have your own roles that complement each other. You know that works. That works great. You know,
Yeah.
you can't all we everyone's got to have different skill set. That's how it works as a team. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, before we get off here, because I don't want to keep you too long, where can people find you?
They can find us anywhere they consume music, YouTube, Apple Music, so, Amazon Music, Spotify. YouTube. Did I say YouTube? I probably say YouTube already. I mean, we have a website, cityoftheweekofficial.com, bands in town if you want to see where we're playing. Come to a show. That's where we're at our prime, I feel like, But yeah, that's kind of it.
Do you have an upcoming show coming up?
In North Carolina? No.
Well, just in general.
Yes, this weekend we'll be at Rock the River Festival in Oklahoma, and then we'll be in Abilene, Texas, and then in July we'll be at Rockfest. We'll be in Green Bay, Rockford, Illinois, lots of Colorado dates, lots of Illinois, Wisconsin dates. So, yeah, we'll be out
We'll
there.
keep an eye out for our dates.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, the end of the year, if not early next year, once we actually have new music out, that would be great. That's kind of our goal, is to get new music out before we like really hit the road again.
Okay, that works. I can patiently wait.